broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by the Firearms Radio Network. Firearmsradio.tv.
Hello and welcome to episode 175 of Gun Guy Radio. This is the podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Ryan Machad, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. As always, please consider supporting the Firearms Radio Network by shopping Amazon using our Amazon affiliate link at firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. A portion of your purchase will go towards helping the FRN create awesome pro-gun content like this show. So this week, I'm joined by the one and only Jake Challen from the Firearms Radio Network. How you doing, Jake?
Hey, Ryan. It's great to be back on my own show.
It's good to have you back. So we're going to talk about some concealed carry in Illinois. Also talk about Jake's return to Gun Guy Radio.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ryan, I just wanted to give you a big thank you, big shout out for doing Gun Guy Radio in my absence, and you've been having some really awesome guests on and everything. So, just really good job. Thank you.
Oh, it was really fun. It was my pleasure, and I got to learn something every episode, which is always awesome.
Do you shop on Amazon? How about your spouse? Does your mom? Does your company? Why not use the Firearms Radio Network's Amazon affiliate link next time you shop Amazon? Bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon or click through the Amazon link in the right-hand corner of firearmsradio.tv. Get it? Got it? Amazon it.
So, Jake, you are now transitioned out of your former day job and basically doing your own stuff full-time and doing FRN pretty much full-time, correct?
Yeah, I don't know full-time, but yeah, I'm definitely doing it more. Not working at my dreaded day job anymore, which I guess everyone wants to know what that was. and so I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag here, but I was a rural mail carrier for the Postal Service and delivered people's mail every day. And really that part of the job wasn't bad at all. The actual, mail part of it, I kind of even enjoyed it some days, but, where I was, it was pretty much a toxic environment with the different, I guess you could say leadership. No, you couldn't say leadership. They were not leaders that I worked under. The different managers and bosses and everything. It was just a big pile of doggy-doo bureaucracy there, and I just couldn't take it any longer. And especially since I'm such an entrepreneur at heart, I would spend all day, every day listening to business, entrepreneurial podcasts and thinking about, starting my own different businesses and stuff. So it was something that I even if it was a job I completely liked, it was something I wasn't long for because I had to be my own boss and start, trying these different ideas I had. Just like with the Firearms Radio Network, I had to, I was such a big gun podcast listener that I had to start my own, and then it evolved into the Firearms Radio Network.
Well, and you think, those larger bureaucracies or even larger companies, I mean, it can be hard when you as an individual think you want it to go one way, and it's like trying to steer a cruise ship with an oar from a canoe. You're not going to get anywhere with it.
Well, yeah, and that's true. I mean, if there was a problem and if you wanted to you couldn't always do the right thing for the customer, and that kind of drove me crazy. That if you wanted to serve the customer well, you weren't always allowed to do that. Because, a lot of the times the stance of, and you're right, it's not just government, but it can be bigger businesses too. A lot of times the stance comes down to, give the customer the middle finger in this case, in this instance.
Right. Where are they going to go without, there's no other alternative to us. So why should we have to change? Why they'll have to just deal with it?
Or this is how we do things. They have to live with it. And,
right.
And that just drives me crazy.
Now, you've been doing stuff with Amazon, I hear, correct?
Right. Yeah. So started some Amazon FBA, or what it really is fulfillment by Amazon, where you send product into the Amazon warehouses, and then when it sells, Amazon ships it. They handle a lot of the customer service. It's eligible for the Prime 2-day free shipping with Amazon, and so on. So it's pretty cool, and I heard about it on a Smart Passive Income podcast with Pat Flynn, and I'll put a link in the show notes for that. But it was about how this lady, Jessica, how she basically her and her husband started full-time selling stuff on Amazon. They both left their day jobs so they could be with their newly born son, more and stuff, and be their own bosses. And she told her whole story A to Z. And I was listening to this on my mail route, and before I was even done listening to the whole podcast, I was like, I can do this. I know exactly how she's doing it. I can do this. It sounds like a lot of fun. I was really excited, so I pulled off at a store on my route and for my lunch break, and I went in there and I downloaded the app they were using. So what they were doing was they had an app on their phone, and they would look for clearance stuff at stores that would have a good sales rank and good profitability on Amazon. So I downloaded the app, went into that store on my lunch break, and I found a few items, and that's how it all started. So it was like within minutes of hearing it. Before I even finished the episode, I was already doing it. And so I've been doing that for over a year now. And, for a while there were some months where I made more than I made at my day job while working at my day job. And a lot of months where I was making the same and stuff. And while I was at the day job, I was still just pouring all the money back into the business and building the business. So when I had eventually had that take this job and shove it moment, and left my job, I was able to do that and still support my family through that. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It is getting a little more difficult to do that style of business because a lot of people are doing it because they heard that episode. I think that's one of his most listened to episodes on the Smart Passive Income. So there's a lot of other people doing it now, and so that's why I think a little bit later in the episode we'll talk about some of the businesses I'm creating to be at a place where I'm creating product rather than trying to find liquidation product.
Well, definitely having diversity in your various products and services you offer will give you more flexibility in terms of, in case you have a slow month on one end, you may have a better month on the other one, and not all your eggs are in one basket.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I definitely want to be diversified in my income streams moving forward. And the problem with liquidation stuff, it's liquidation. Once it's liquidated, it's gone.
Right.
The beauty of it is that people want it, people buy it, it has a really good profit margin if you do it right. And so, you have to be willing to do the legwork on it. And I did it more than most people did it. I outworked everyone else that was just dabbling in it for a hobby. I was doing it, or still am to an extent doing it as a full-time business, really serious about it. But it is something you could do just on the side for some extra income too, though.
Excellent. And you spoke about new companies. I know anybody who follows the Handgun Radio, Firearms Radio Network, Gun Guy Radio, and all the other Facebook pages, I'm sure, has been seeing a bunch of posts from you regarding the Patriot Patch Company.
Yeah, so Patriot Patch Company is something that Ryan Cross, the graphics designer that has designed all the artwork you see on the Firearms Radio Network, it's something him and I have kind of launched here, and because he's, I guess, separately, he's been thinking about starting a morale patch company, and then I started thinking about it, so we started talking about it, and we took action and we launched that with our pre-order for the I'm Your Huckleberry patch, which is it's a play off of the movie Tombstone, which, if anyone has seen, you remember Doc Holliday's character, which Doc Holliday was a real person. I don't know if he said, I'm your Huckleberry in real life or not, but that's what her patch says, so you can check that out. So yeah, I'm looking to launch some different companies that gun guys like us would normally buy from, so that I can serve our listeners here, and this, because we kind of have this platform already set up with the Firearms Radio Network. So I'm looking for products that would serve our audience well, and so that the morale patch company was kind of a natural extension of that. And then I'm looking at possibly launching some other things, like maybe a holster company or a gear company of some sort, because I think there's still a lot of opportunity out there in that marketplace.
Yeah, the patch thing, it seemed like the market was sort of saturated, but then you look at it, and there's a lot of people making patches that are of really low quality, and then you have the upper tier patches like the ones that you guys have made. I know I have the Gun Guy Radio patch for my hat there that I got from you at NRA show, and that's a really high quality patch as opposed to the ones that actually came with my order a long time ago, which were just like really thin cloth patches.
What patches came with your order a long time ago that were crappy?
Not from you, from when I ordered one of these hats off of Amazon or something a long time ago.
Well, and so that company we're building as you're right, as a quality, over anything else brand, because in the patches, so for now we're just doing the 3D printed or 3D injection molded PVC patches. So they're really vibrant colors. They're 3D, so there's multiple layers or textures on them. So and they're really cool. It lets us do really cool designs, whereas the traditional, you think like Boy Scout type sewn patches and stuff, where
right,
some of those look pretty cool, but they look like something anyone can just buy from the craft store or something. And
right,
we wanted something that was far more custom, far more I guess a little bit higher end.
Yeah, it looks like something you might buy and sew onto the sleeve of your shirt or something. And yours don't look that way.
Well, yeah, that's our goal, at least. So yeah, we're really striving for that better look.
And something I saw quite funny on the Facebook page was the tactical spoon.
Yeah, so that just kind of popped in my head. You see these everyday carry self-defense knives that you wear around your neck. I can't think of it. There's a really well-known one out there that you see all the time, and those are cool. But I was thinking, what kind of parody kind of gift type product can I come up with? So I thought about the tactical spoon that you wear around your neck, because you never know when hunger might strike.
So you're going to be coming back to Gun Guy Radio, but we're going to be sort of co-hosting it, tag teaming it, so to speak.
Right, yeah.
Right, we haven't scheduled them out quite yet, but I believe we're going to have a schedule where maybe we do a couple weeks and then alternate to a different host, and then another couple weeks alternate to the other host.
Probably just depend who has content for that week. I don't know. I mean, no, yeah, we'll do some shows together, co-host. We'll still do our separate interview shows and whatnot. But yeah, I'm really excited to have you come on board, Ryan, and you've been doing such an awesome job. Some of my favorite all-time episodes you've done in just the last few months. So you've done a really great job. Happy to have you on the team, and looking forward to making Gun Guy Radio, taking this brand to the next level.
Absolutely. I mean, we both have our different circles and networks and contacts, so I'm sure we can get some good content out there for the listeners.
Absolutely. And, this is a show on the network that started it all. So it's kind of a legacy for us at this point.
So moving on to concealed carry in Illinois. So, first of all, am I saying that right, Illinois?
Illinois, yeah, you don't say noise. And Illinois calls it a concealed carry license. That's something I had to get right. I recently, I've been consulting with a local firearms training company, and they mainly do the Illinois concealed carry license, helping them out with their marketing and stuff. So I've been trying to get my terminology right for that. But we've had it for this January, I think will mark, or this fall. I actually don't know the exact date. This fall will mark the 2-year mark of having legal concealed carry in Illinois.
Now, how long have you been carrying for ever since that started?
Maybe it's this summer, actually, now that I think, I should look up that date. So I got my permit on New Year's Eve, so that's when it actually came to me in the mail, so that was pretty exciting. And, I've been carrying, so my dreaded day job, that was for the government, and you can't carry on government property. So I didn't carry that often because I worked 6 days a week, and it was really difficult to live, I guess, that lifestyle when you have a job like that. So I really feel for our listeners that are in that situation. But ever since I quit the job, it's been every day, pretty much every day. Illinois has, I think you're going to ask me about this, but Illinois has a lot of places where you cannot carry, and there's parks, like pretty much any public area, any city-owned, state-owned area you cannot carry, and that includes parks that my kids play at. I can't just walk a couple blocks away to the park with my kids. I got to put my gun in the safe, and then I can do it. And even like there's walkways, there's a jogging path near our house that I exercise on sometimes, and even that you can't carry on. So there's a lot of stupid restrictions in Illinois. You can't carry on like public transit. You can't carry on events, whatever that means, like public gatherings and stuff like that. So it's pretty crazy, but I think in the next couple of years, especially since we have a different governor now, I think, don't want to talk politics here, but I think that's going to become less and less restrictive as we pass new stuff here.
Yeah, I certainly hope so for you guys. That's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, here it's like federal buildings, state government buildings, schools, and bars that serve alcohol and get over 51%, I think, of their revenue from alcohol sales, and unless they're posted. I'm sure over in Illinois, if they're posted, you cannot go in. Whereas here in Maine, it's a trespassing violation if you're seen with a firearm and you're asked to leave and you don't leave.
I believe it's also a more like a trespassing thing for posted places, but there's so many things that are written into the law where you can't, where it would probably be like be the same as carrying on a federal property, where that could be like a felony or something.
Right. Now, are there any restrictions to the firearms or ammunition that you can use?
Well, yeah. So I do feel blessed, and there are aspects of our carry license that are not so bad. It could have been much worse, but it's a shall issue. So if we apply and we're not a restricted person, the state police have to issue that license to us in a timely manner, which is like 100 and some days, but there's no restrictions on ammunition or capacity. It actually, from my understanding, I'm not a lawyer. I don't play a lawyer on a podcast, so double check everything I'm saying. But I believe the carry law actually did away with some of the handgun magazine restrictions. Because of Aurora and like Chicago and like different places had magazine limit restrictions. And I was told that the carry law, now double check this yourself, but I was told that actually did away with some of that stuff. So that's good. But at the same time, my carry gun isn't a large capacity handgun either. So I guess either way that That wouldn't affect me, but yeah, luckily there's not restrictions like that. I don't know what other restrictions were you thinking of that?
Well, just like I know in New Jersey, for instance, hollow points aren't allowed.
Oh yeah, no, nothing like that. No.
Okay. And I'm sure that you are probably correct, and like we said, double check, but I'm sure that when they passed the concealed carry law, there were some clause about preemption written into there, so you wouldn't have municipalities passing concealed firearms ordinances, prohibiting concealed carry.
Right.
Rather than, you don't want a patchwork of laws around the state where people don't know the law and they inadvertently violate it because there's this huge patchwork.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Now, in terms of carrying concealed, were there some things, people think about, okay, I'm going to carry this, I'm going to carry with this holster, I'm going to use this ammunition, I wear this type of clothing, this is how I dress. Were there some things that you didn't think of prior to carrying that you had to adapt to?
One thing I had thought of before carrying was because I was having holster just being, part of the Firearms Radio Network and everything. I'd have holster companies send me holsters and stuff like that. So I had actually thought about practicing carrying a blue gun around. But I thought, I don't know, with my job and everything, that might not be, even though it's a fake gun, that might not be a good idea. But I don't know. As far as things I hadn't considered was I needed more undershirts because I have to wear two shirts to layer one between the gun and myself just because of the way whether I carry inside the waistband or outside the waistband, it just for comfort, I feel like I need those two. I need that inner layer, and that's something that I had to go buy a bunch of longer-tailed T-shirts.
Yeah, it's definitely, I am someone who just cannot wear an undershirt or a tucked-in shirt. It just does not work for me, so I've pretty much relegated myself to pocket carry for right now, but I am trying to get back into IWB carry.
Yeah, so I started out with inside the waistband, and just up until a couple weeks ago, I started wearing outside the waistband, and I'm actually wearing right now in a holster that I made, because the inside the waistband holster I had been wearing, it was designed somewhat poorly because I cut my hand on it several times tucking my shirt in because it had exposed screw studs on the back side. So I finally got fed up with it and just made a holster that wouldn't cut myself like that. So, and it just so happened to be an outside the waistband design, but it's working out pretty good. Making holsters is definitely a learning process. I really respect anyone that does it for a living.
Now, have you noticed any pushback from any members, like the public? I mean, I know it's concealed carry and people generally don't know when you're doing it, but have you noticed people are happy with the new law, or, a lot of people are like, I'm not, sure how I feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, you saw a lot of carry, what do you call this? A lot of businesses put up no guns here signs on the doors. And Illinois has like a specific, image and format for that. If you don't want people carrying guns in your place of business, you can put this image in your window. And so I did see a lot of those go up, and some of them at disappointing places, like places where I have to use their place of business because no one else does that. Like UPS is one of them that, they threw those up. It's really funny. Some of the government buildings and like UPS in different places, they threw up so many no gun signs that like it's basically like a blinds on a window, just put a bunch of no gun signs up. Don't put blinds up. But yeah, so what was the question? I forgot.
Yeah. Did you see, like acceptance by the public of concealed carry?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not in the public enough to answer that.
Yeah, we forget that there isn't just Chicago and Illinois.
Yeah, so I don't know. I try to stay away from Chicagoland as much as possible, even though my Amazon business has taken me in there several times lately. But I don't know. I haven't seen like, the outcry against it that you might think you would see being in a little more of a liberal state like Illinois. But I think it's just Chicago and the bigger metropolitan areas that are like that. Most of Illinois is like Iowa or Missouri, or most of Illinois is very pro-gun, pro-hunter, outdoors, pro-freedom, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. You don't really think, I mean, like I said, people outside of Illinois, they think, oh, well, it's just Chicago. And there's a whole bunch of the state that is not that like that. And so you're going to have your different diverse demographics that are going to feel different ways about firearms and concealed carry.
Well, in fact, before, I feel like we're talking too much politics here, but before they passed carry in Illinois, there were several counties and other governments of body that passed pro-carry, I guess, I don't know, pro-carry, I guess, bills. It wasn't a bill, but, they passed whatever you call it. Losing
a resolution
or something saying that our county is pro-carry or whatever. And our county actually was one of the counties that passed something that was pro-carry like that before we had the state law. It was just kind of saying, hey, we want this, it didn't carry any weight of law or anything. So I guess that kind of gives you the idea, the type of area I live in. So moving on to the guns that you're using, what did you first start carrying when concealed carry became law? Well, I actually took my carry class with let me get the name right, SCCY CPX2 9mm. I guess it's a compact pistol. It's a double stack 9mm, 10 round. And I took the carry class with that, and they actually had pins that started walking out of the frame during the live fire session. And I had to hammer those back into the frame to finish my carry class, which was not good. And then I took it out again just a few weeks ago. I took it out again, and it was having all kinds of failures to extract. And so I was like, what the heck is up with this thing? And I posted my problems on Instagram, and it was funny. I had the company respond saying, hey, call us here. We want to make this right. So I called I called them. I called SCCY and told them what was going on. They said, okay, ship it here. And so I shipped it down to Florida to their factory, and I shipped it on a Friday, and they had it shipping back to me by the next Friday. And I actually have it in my hands now. I got it back today, which is a Tuesday. So that, I don't know, I guess I'll have to take it out and shoot it, but I thought that was pretty good turnaround time for customer service.
I've heard pretty good things about their service. Everybody kind of maligns them because they're not as well known as some of the larger manufacturers, but everything I've seen by them, what they make is a really decent product.
Well, and they did fix one of my biggest complaints about these was the magazine base plates. And when they shipped it back, they put all new magazine base plates on it, and they redesigned them, and they fixed it because the original ones were just god awful. They would easily pinch your fingers, and they were just really crappy. They were pieces of plastic, but they were jagged and just none of the edges were rounded. It was just really awful. But they fixed that, so that's cool to see. And actually, come to think of it, I think they replaced. They might have just sent me all new mags. I don't know. So the list here of things they did, they actually pretty much rebuilt the gun. But I can tell they at least replaced one magazine because for some reason one of my 3 mags was rusty, and they were all kept together. So I don't know why one would be rusty and the rest wouldn't be. But yeah, they replaced the whole slide, the trigger bar, cam, mag bases, recoil rod, trigger, the frame pins. It looks like they put oversized frame pins in, and they adjusted the magazines. So
nice. And that's the yours have the no thumb safety, or does it have the thumb safety?
Yeah, no, the CPX2 does not have the thumb safety. So this is like a little baby Glock almost. And that's why I went for this gun. Or originally it was because a budget price point too. There are only about, if you watch for sales, you can get them for as cheap as like $220 or somewhere in there.
Right.
And so they're a couple $100 less than a baby Glock. So their price is right. And the trigger was another complaint on these, and it seems like this trigger on it breaks cleaner, and it's not as long as the other one. It still has a really, that's like their big safety feature on it, is that the long double action style trigger pull is, basically the safety.
Right.
But it seems like it's not nearly as long, because I'd have people shoot this thing and they'd be like, it's not shooting. I'm like, keep pulling. They're like, I am. I'm like, no, keep pulling. They're like, I am. I'm like, keep pulling. And then it goes off.
Yeah, it's the same thing with my car. People will be like, yeah, it's got a long trigger pull, and I'm like, well, you gotta put your fingertip on the tip of the, you gotta just use your fingertip on the trigger, and it won't feel as long. It's when people really wrap and put like the middle joint of their finger on the trigger. It's when it feels so long because you don't have that leverage.
Yeah, I mean, and this one's kind of, cars have really great triggers, even though they're long. They have, for the most part, they have pretty good factory triggers. But these, you can tell it's more of a budget gun. But I'll have to get out and shoot it. I if this becomes a shooter and it's good to go, then I could consider carrying this. I guess we kind of went off on a tangent.
Well, it's a good tangent, though, because I haven't really talked about Sky much on my show, and I haven't really talked about it much on here because I don't like talking about guns I don't have a whole great deal of experience with. I don't want to seem like someone who doesn't know, I'm just bashing a gun or not bashing a gun, and I've never held one, which I have held these, and I've always been fairly impressed by them.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I don't like about them is they have the finger grooves on the front, and so because this is a budget gun, I think I'm going to take my Dremel to this, and I've never done that to any guns, so I think I might just kind of have some fun with this, take the finger grooves off the front, and maybe checker it a little bit. Maybe try to take the back strap down a little bit too, because it does have a very thick grip front to back. So much so my wife hates this gun because it's so thick, and the trigger pull, you got to get your fingers so far up there to actually shoot it. So
yeah, what's the mag capacity on that?
So it's 10+1. It's got a good capacity, 10+1 9mm. So I always thought, just looking at the specs of these, that it would be a really good gun for carry, or even for a house gun or something, because it's not big. But I don't know. Guns are like a lot of things. You got to get out and shoot them, see what works for you. And this one initially did not work for me, so that's why I carry the Springfield XDS in 45 caliber, and it's the 4-inch, the longer slide model of the Springfield XDS. And that gun, I shot it the 3.3 inch. The original version of it, I shot it at SHOT Show the year it came out, and it worked really well in my hands. I could, sights on target quickly, shots on target quickly, accurately. And this one that I bought for carry, it's been the same thing. Really easy to shoot, great gun, great feeling gun in my hands at least. And so that's what I carry every day.
Yeah, I've been really impressed. And also they offer a bunch of different colors here, I see.
Yeah, so I have the one with the stainless steel slide. I always wanted a gun with a black frame stainless slide, so I finally did it with this one. But they're great shooters. I mean, right out of the box, they're not cheap though. The big downside of the Springfields is that they have a healthy price point on them. So.
Absolutely. Now, I actually just picked up something that I've been toying around with here lately, and that I purchased for my birthday, was a Steyr C9A1. So if you've been listening to Gun Guy Radio and Handgun Radio recently, you've probably heard me talk about these. And the Steyr pistols are very, very interesting. They look a little unconventional. A lot of people kind of write them off because, they're the other Austrian gun, as Grant Cunningham says. And they look sort of space age, sort of like a ray gun almost. They have a really steep grip angle. I believe it's 110 degrees. And in my opinion, I prefer it over the Glock so far. I love the trigger on it. The trigger is phenomenal for a factory out-of-the-box trigger. Does not use the pivoting trigger safety like you normally see on a Glock. It slides straight back into the trigger housing. And I really, really like that because I don't care for that flipper safety on the Glock trigger. And the biggest thing everybody talks about is either the low bore axis or the sights. They're trapezoidal sights. And so you got a big, large triangle that's white in the front. And then in the rear, you have a triangle-shaped notch with two lines on either side. And basically, you just bring the gun up to your line of sight. And honestly, I found that if I try to use the sights like normal post and notch sights, I mess up. But if I just bring it up to my line of sight and go for it, I make better hits.
That's an interesting looking gun. I have not held one or seen one in person. I wonder if Steyr did they have a booth at NRA show? I don't remember.
They did. That's where I first held one, I went back there probably 3 or 4 times.
I guess in some ways it's like the Glock design where it doesn't have a safety on the slide or anything like that.
Yeah, it's no manual safety. All the American ones, United States import ones, don't have a safety. I guess some of the European Steyrs had a safety inside the trigger guard in front of the trigger above it, so it was a button you would push up into the gun and then go to town. They don't have them on the U.S. ones, and I'm completely fine with that. I guess they have multiple different frame sizes. The C9A one is sort of a weird combination. It's the short slide of the S series Steyr with the M series frame. So you've got 17 round capacity in the frame, but a 3.6 inch barrel. It's very, very well balanced, very controllable. The first magazine I put through it, I had never fired the gun before. I came up very quickly, and I was able to put all 15 shots on a steel plate at 10 yards fairly rapidly. So that was my first impression, and I was impressed.
So it looks, the best way to describe it is it looks like a CZ, 82? Or what's the CZs that look like these?
The new ones, like the PO7s?
Yeah, it looks like a CZ PO7 because it's got the slimmer slide. Looking at the slide, it's got hardly anything on top, and the frame comes up higher because it's internal slide rails, right? Instead of
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it's there's a lot more frame than slide, and it's kind of funny when you take off the slide and set it beside like the slide of a Glock or my car. It's probably half the height of a standard semi-auto pistol.
So what's the price point on this one?
The MSRP is around $560. I see them going for anywhere between $475 to $500, sometimes a little bit higher. So pretty affordable. I mean, you're going to pay for a new Glock roughly that same amount nowadays. The only downsides for some people is there isn't as much aftermarket support because, Glock is so popular. There's just so many people making accessories for them. You can find holsters and stuff. It's just going to take you a little bit more effort looking for them. But I have found just so far very impressed. There will be a review going up at firearmsinsider.tv further on down the line once I get some more ammo through it. But so far it's been completely reliable. Had 2 light primer strikes that were pretty much attributed to the really hard primers on the cheap Wolf ammunition I was using. They went off the second time. So far, very, very impressed.
Oh, very, very cool. Yeah, that's something I'll have to check out at the next SHOT Show or NRA show I'm at.
Excellent. So I believe that about wraps up the main topic, unless you have anything to add, Jake.
Well, not really. Just excited to be back on the program. Excited to have Ryan here on the Gun Guy Radio team permanently. And, looking at the upcoming episodes here, I've got 2 back-to-back episodes on the Henry Repeating Arms. First one is interview with the CEO of Henry Repeating Arms, and then the second one is with Evil Roy, talking about the history of the Henry-style rifle, starting all the way back in 1860 and kind of bringing it up to some modern-day iterations of that. So that's both of those are good episodes, so looking forward to airing those. And then, looking forward to the next year of Gun Guy Radio here.
Absolutely. Looking forward to having some good main topics and some good guests. So excellent. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity, Jake, and really appreciate you letting me be a part of the team.
My pleasure. And big shout out to all the listeners for, making this possible, for using our Amazon affiliate link and being a Patreon of the program.
Well, I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your Huckleberry. Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Fight's not with you, Holiday.
I beg to differ, sir. We started a game we never got to finish. Play for blood, remember?
I was just fooling about.
I wasn't. Say when. Show Johnny Ringo who's boss with Patriot Patch Company's Huckleberry Patch, a must-have for any range bag. Pre-order yours today at patriotpatch.co.
Patriot Patch Company sponsors this episode of Gun Guy Radio. Check out the On Your Huckleberry Patch pre-order and also the new Patriotic Flag 4-pack of patches, which includes the 1776 Bennington flag, the Confederate Rebel Battle flag, the Gadsden Don't Tread on Me flag, and the Texas Revolution Come and Take It flag, all in a 4-pack. PatriotPatch.co. You can tell I'm rusty. But check those out. Some pretty cool patches just around the bend. But please go over there, pre-order them, and make this possible. And also, Patreon.com/FRN and Patreon.com/gun. Is that it? I forgot the URL.
Patreon.com/gun, GunGuyRadio.com/pledge.
Ryan's got his hand up to his forehead right now. Why is this guy coming back to the show? But yeah, you can crowdfund this episode of Gun Guy Radio and crowdfund the network as a whole. Just check out those two links. If you go to patreon.com/gun, that's pledging your support on a per episode basis. And if you go to patreon.com/FRN, that's supporting the network as a whole on a monthly basis. So check that out. Also check out Ryan Cross, Hunter of Design. Ryan's designed all the patches at Patriot Patch Company and all the awesome artwork on the Firearms Radio Network. And you can find him at hunterofdesign.com. Remember to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss a show. Leave us an iTunes review over there. And then please consider joining the NRA and the Second Amendment Foundation. And don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows on the Firearms Radio Network, like Handgun Radio. Ryan, I guess you got some exciting episodes of Handgun Radio coming up.
Yeah, we got some good ones scheduled. Actually, soon there'll be the 100th episode coming up, so that'll be a real important milestone. Really excited to have that one up there. I had TJ and Weirdbeard on, and we discussed some of our favorite experiences and moments from the past episodes, so it should be a good one.
Very cool. Wow. Thank you, Ryan.
Not a problem. Really appreciate it.
And that's a wrap. We'll see you next week.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv. Want more pro-gun podcasts like this one? Show your support by contributing to patreon.com/FRN. It's a great way to help create more of these pro-gun radio shows. head on over to patreon.com/FRN today.